to be cloudy.
95. Warm.
Where?
Hawaii.
I was born there, and then when I was 7, we moved back. So it was beach every weekend, full every day.
The only problem with that is the tsunamis.
Yeah.
And
What?
No tsunamis.
and the volcanoes.
No tsunamis. No volcanoes.
You guys are.
Where?
Guam.
Oh, Guam. Okay.
Not that Guam couldn't get a tsunami.
But you said Guam.
No, we had to worry about earthquakes and really bad.
Coconuts falling.
Monsoon season and tropical storms.
Boy, Pat, don't stereotype too much there, buddy.
So,
Who am I stereotyping? Islands have coconuts.
they make really good.
No, what? The first thing you associate Hawaii with.
Alright, so, chapter 8, you remember the stuff last week? Yes, sir. You remember the basic formula. What is it again? That's a bad sign. Number 1. Selling price equals cost plus markup. Now, keep in mind, you're going to notice in the explanations that when they ask you, they don't do it on this problem because all they ask you for is the markup and the percent markup. But when they ask you for your selling price, cost, and markup, you can always start off with that basic formula. In other words, the first step, I gave you 7 formulas, but if it makes it simpler for you, you can start off with the selling price formula every time and just solve for either S, C, or M. Does that make sense? That might be easier for you. Okay? So all you have is 8 problems. You're lucky I've been running short on time. Because when I notice this, it's usually right before I come to class, and I don't have time to go in and add 3 or 4 more problems. So you've been lucky this semester. For some reason, when I'm copying the course over, I don't know why it's not taking all the problems that I copied over the previous semester. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's either your benefit or lack of practice. I don't know how you want to look at that. So. But they're pretty simple to do. Okay, let's go ahead and knock them out, and then we'll get out of here. I've got to get on the road, to be honest. Which is not a common thing. It's not a common thing. That's why I asked about the snow.
Okay.
Headed north.
Are you going to the mountains? Are you going to the mountains? Huh? Oh, then you're fine.
Cold's fine, no snow, no ice. A little bit over a year ago, I was coming back at about midnight from Denver. And you remember this last February, because it was minus 20, I believe, for almost a whole week with the wind chill, right? Remember that? Yes, and so I was on the road and the ice got me. And you have no control, just slide off. So that's why I'm asking for you. It was not fun.
No.
All right, can you read this? All right, we have Sam, who is buying a painting of Woody Woodpecker for $12,300. He has a strange stench. So, nothing against Woody Woodpecker.
It was a great cartoon, but I want to know.
Anyway, so this is supposedly a very valuable painting painted by the original, the guy, the Woody Woodpecker guy. So, he plans to resell it on eBay, for $13,776. So he's trying to make a profit. Now, you can already see, they ask you for the markup. That is very simple to do. You can do this without even using the formula. There is the price he wants to sell it for, and then minus what? The price he paid.
Yeah.
Very simple. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, it's right there. There's your first answer. Markup. And in the second part, what is the percent markup based on cost? Based on cost. So you take the markup, right, and divide it by the cost, which is formula number 4 or 5. Who knows? And again, the checks, I don't really pay much attention to these. Or
If you check your work, why you need to do that?
if you get it right, why even bother with that?
Yeah, so why do you check it?
One more thing to do. So each his own. Okay, you ready for another one?
Yes.
Okay. Right here they want price, but you have to understand what price really means. Okay, does it mean selling price? Does it mean cost? Usually it would mean selling price. Let's take a look. We have Chen, who is a manager for Best Buy, does not know how to price a GE freezer that cost the store $7.90. That is your, you recognize the formula? Selling price equals cost plus markup. Let me get this one in. That's all right. All right. So, selling price equals cost plus markup. Now, look at the last sentence. He knows that his boss wants a 30% markup on cost. Do you see how we got this? This represents the markup. 30%, 0.3 of or times the cost. Do you see how we got that? That's about the most difficult thing in these problems, is that was, this kind of thing right here. For some people, understanding that. Okay, the second step, you just simply add them together, right? And you come up with the selling price of $1,027. Any questions on that one? Okay, I don't think we've seen one like this yet, or we didn't talk about it last week. Look at what they're asking you for. They call it the amount. Okay, that's pretty general, right? We'll narrow it down a little bit. We have Cecil, who sells golf hats. He knows that most people will not pay more than $25 for a golf hat. So what does that tell you? He can only sell it for $25. So there is your selling price. You understand the wording there? Because you have another problem just like this. Most people will only pay $25, which means that's the most you can sell it for. And that is your selling price. Right? There's the formula. Cecil needs a 30% markup on cost. Selling price equals cost plus markup, 0.3 times C. Now, how do we simplify that? We make this into, this is 1C plus 0.3C. Can we combine those terms? Yes, because they're like, they have the same variable. So we get 1.3C. You see how we got that? Now, again, I mentioned this last week. Whenever I'm going to do this, it might help to try to block everything out if you're watching me explain it, and just follow it step by step. Like right now, you should be right here. Okay? And we just brought down the selling price of 25, so we're here. Now we want to isolate that C, right? We want to isolate it. So we're going to divide both sides by what? 1.3. It'll cancel out on this side. You're left with C, cost. And then 25 divided by $1.30 is $19.23. So again, if I didn't mention it before, what should he pay for his golf hats? What should he pay? Not what the customer should pay, what the business should pay. So that is the cost, obviously. Easy? You'll love the next chapter.
Payroll.
I'll just read it.
Next chapter's payroll.
No, it's actually financial statements. I think they're switched around on the
Not chapter
schedule.
9?
Huh?
Not chapter 9?
Chapter 9 comes last in this section. It doesn't matter which order you do in the hard one out of the way anyways. Okay. Two things they want from us here. Now it's not markup, it's marked down. Remember that? Very simple, right? When they put something on sale. And then the percent markdown. And those are formulas, what is it, 6 and 7 in your notes, I believe? Or just 6. I think I combined into one. So the markdown is just how much the item was reduced, correct? Now you can look at this. You don't have to have a formula for this. Calvin Klein jeans shirts were originally priced at $40 for one, and now they're going to be priced for $10. How much have we marked it down? 40 minus 10 is 30. There it is right here. And right, that's the next part. So the percent markdown is the markdown amount, which is $30, divided by the, not the sales price, the original price. Don't get those mixed up. You understand original price, right? That's before sales, before the markdown. You ready for another one? One pretty quickly. You've got enough time to write these down. Okay, you should recognize the wording in this one. Right here, you recognize that? We'll pay no more than $105. Let's start from the beginning. How do you pronounce that first name?
Mitsubishi.
Okay, I'll go with that. Mitsubishi. All right. Owner of bread shop. Knows his customers will pay no more than $105, so he can only sell it for $105. Selling price equals cost plus markup. For a comforter, it's a comforter. So he wants a 25% markup on selling price. 25% markup on selling price. So what does this mean, really? What are we looking for here? We're looking for one of three things. Say it again. Say it again.
I just what he's gonna pay for it.
You get it right the first time.
You're going to find the original
Cost.
price.
Cost.
Original cost.
I'm trying to get those three words in your brain. You know, selling price equals cost plus markup, because it's always one of those three things. And in this case, misused payment is what it cost. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so as we move along, 25% of the cost, or 25% multiplied, or of the selling price, excuse me. So 0.25 times the selling price, which is $105. Okay? So in the second step, we end up with what? 105 equals cost plus 26.25. And what do we want to do here? Isolate
The C.
C. To do that, we subtract 26.25 from both sides. Okay, you're left with C on this side, and you're left with 78.75 for the cost. questions on this one? I think most of them, or all of them, tell you to round your answer to 2 decimals. Okay, you ready for another one? Yes. 3 left? Do you recognize the formula? It's the last one I gave you? Yes, the break even. So B stands for break even point. Now, does that reference a quantity or a dollar amount? What is quantity? Remember we talked about that. So this is quantity, it's not dollars. It's how many you have to sell, how many units you have to produce and sell at some price to break even, to cover your costs. And then every unit you sell after that contributes to what? A profit. Right. Very simple. Chain Corporation makes model toy cars. Each sells for $29.75. Now look at the formula. They don't give you it right here, but what is it? You remember what it was? Fixed costs divided by what? Price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Fixed cost divided by price per unit minus variable cost per unit. If each sells for $29.75, that's the price they're selling it for, or hope to sell it for. Variable cost is just given to you. It is $14.80 per unit. You just plug it in. When all is said and done, you come out with 21,191 units to break even, if you sell them all at a price of $29.75. Does that make sense? Huh? Yeah, 30 bucks a piece. Yeah, they're gonna be selling and producing for a while before they make a profit. Better late than never, we're almost done.
It's Debbie's fault.
Oh, it doesn't matter, I'm just saying we're not, there are like 3 problems left. In other words, I feel bad that you can't. Well, you hit your last 3 problems. So anyway, any more questions about this one? No? We have 3 things from us here. The markup amount, the percent markup based on what? Cost. And the percent markup based on
Selling price.
selling price. So this problem has both of them. All right, Apple Computer. An Apple Computer Center sells computers for $1,180. Now you have to pay very close attention here. That is the selling price, right? Obviously. Now, assuming the computers cost $95.88 per dozen. Per dozen. So you have to do something extra in this problem. What is it? Look at the first thing they do. They divide by 12. They divide this number, because it costs that much for 12 of them, by 12, and that's the unit cost. Got it? That's how much it costs for one.
Laptop.
Huh?
A laptop.
What about it?
No, $7.99. So what you pay for an Apple laptop.
So, 5 years, 6 years ago, I paid $1,400 for a Dell. I still have it. But I've had, God, I've fixed it so many times. Anyway,
This was 1,200
Full
6
Mac
years ago.
yeah, just gotta take care of them, you know. So look at what's going on here. We have the unit cost, what it costs the business to buy one. Right below that, what do you have? The price for,
It doesn't.
they're going, well, no, this is the price
Oh,
that they
yeah.
sell each one for. We're subtracting from that the cost, what it cost us, and that gives us the markup. So the only thing extra you have to do here is figure out how much one costs from 12. Okay, the next thing, the hard part is done. Let's scroll up a bit. All right, percent markup based on cost. First of all, which one do you notice is always going to be higher?
Percent.
Obviously. Based on cost or selling price?
Cost.
Cost. It's always higher. Okay, anyway, it's an observation. So, come down to part B. What is the formula? Markup divided by cost. Very simple. Markup divided by cost. You get 0.4768, and you turn it into a percentage.
What is that under?
Oh, don't worry about it.
I still,
I mean, you can stop right here,
yeah.
and you'll be okay. Just block it out.
Clock out, see.
Try to make things simpler, not harder. You see step B, any question on that one? Simple formulas, markup divided by cost, markup divided by selling price. Okay, and the last one, selling price. The only thing different, notice between B and C, markup, top number, but now it's divided by, not cost, but selling price. And you get a lower number.
Now, see, this is what I have issues with, if you pull that down a little bit, where it says to round it up to decimal places.
Up.
This, yeah, to round them up to the near, oh, the
What
100%.
does it say here?
Well, see, the 3.29 to 9, that would round the 2 to 3, so I would put 3.30, and they'd say it's wrong.
3.3.
Okay, take a look at what's going on here. You're looking at this one, right? So if we come down here, the answer is 0.3229,
Yeah, I would put 0.30.
but they want you to round to this place. Excuse me, this place.
I'm thinking of the 0.29, when we round that up.
The original answer
No,
is point
because the decimals right here,
Oh, okay. Oh,
when you,
okay.
before you move the decimal to the right, the decimal's right here, and this is the hundredths place, the 2. Okay? Well, until you move it. Then when you move it, what becomes the hundredths place?
The 2.
No,
9.
the 9. So whatever comes after that must be lower than 9. They don't show us, but it has to be. Because that would be 32.30. That makes sense? Anybody punch that in? No. 22 what? 0.322.
8813.
Oh, they rounded it up from 8 to 9. Okay, I see. Does everybody else understand the hundredths place? Okay. Another break-even problem. Peak Corporation sells bags of peanuts. All you do is plug the numbers in here. Fixed costs are $17,800. Fixed cost on top. Each bag sells for $2.92. Price per unit. Price per unit. With a unit cost of $153. Now I'm telling you right now, it doesn't say variable here, but trust me, that's variable cost in this problem. Unit cost of $153. Variable cost per unit. When all is said and done, you have to produce and sell 12,806 bags of peanuts to break even with this cost structure. What happens if you lower your costs? You can tell me that. you're able to lower your costs.
Or your profits.
So more kudos and break even. You lower your cost, you lower your break even point.
You lower your costs, you lower your break-even point. Good. Say again over here.
That's basically nice. You won't have to sell as much.
You won't have to sell as much because you lower the break-even point. If you lower your costs, you could lower either fixed costs or variable costs, either one. I mean, look how high the fixed costs are. Because there's some of those managers or salaries or something. So, anyway, just a thought. We can pick this formula apart, you know, all day, and you can graph it. Does anybody ever had that much fun with it?
I hate
You
that.
can graph this and you shade it in and all kinds of things. Yeah. Maybe you'll get to do that one day.
No.
I'd rather not.
Do you have any questions about this or anything?